to the previous question about the jurits, Paul just explaining again. If you like pretty things that attract you, then, and your mind dwells on them a lot, and you always come back to the beauty of things, then this is a sign of the raga jurit. If the dosa jurit, for example, if anyone says just a small thing, something you don't like, and you experience anger, and this is a clear sign that you're a dosa jurit. Dosa is the Indian word that we use. We say growth, but dosa is the ancient Indian language. The moha jurit, everyone has a. ที่หลวงพ่อบอกว่าโมหะจริตเป็นทุกคนหมายถึงว่าทุกคนก็มีส่วนหนึ่งของโมหะ
คือความหลงความไม่รู้ไม่มีสติปัญญานี่
ทุกคนก็ต้องมีบ้าง Moha Jarit, the delusion type or the ignorance type, actually we all have part of this. Everybody experiences delusion or ignorance. And this comes from not having sati panya. The easiest way to explain a moha jarit is one who lacks sati panya, mindfulness and wisdom. It's the easy English translation, no mindfulness and wisdom. The saddha jarit, the faith type, they just so very easy to believe anything, and they're not able to is like to delve deep into, to contemplate deeply into the meaning, or to see deeply into things, and which is it. So it's good if the things you believe in are the correct things, are the good things, but if you believe in things which are not founded in truth, then it's bad. The buddhi jarit, this is one who studies, analyzes, teaches, goes to monasteries, goes to some different sathabanas like institutes or places, different establishments, even different countries, but still very often not peaceful. The buddhi jarit should contemplate three characteristics: see things in the light of anicca, dukkha, anatta. Just look around the room, see objects, and just see the characteristic of anicca. See how we all have suffering as a universal characteristic. Anyone, anywhere in the world experiences dukkha. See that nothing has an owner. I.e., for example, this is not our monastery. These are not my possessions, and the body is not self. That's why no, this body or this I am not myself. If we see three characteristics very clearly, this is a way for the buddhi jarit's mind to become peaceful. The mind doesn't run around. You can, for example, as a skillful means, like say, focus your attention, your awareness, look very fixedly at an object, like look at that picture of Luang Por Chah. In Thai they use the word peng. Peng means to like stare at or to gaze at very firmly. And then whatever is your object of firm concentration visually, this is what we call a kasin. Kasin just means a device. So you're using an external object to keep the mind in one place. And this is like a pillar or a tree, which you say you'd like hold on to a tree in order to stop you from falling over or fainting. So now the Vitakka Jarit is one who out of all these 40 kamatanas just can't decide which one to try or which one might be good for them. Doesn't know what's a good foundation for their own practice. Doesn't know how to decide. The Thai is kankha langle songsai, doubts, worries. It gives rise to worry. If you're always worrying and doubting about the practice, then you're definitely the Vitakka Jarit. And then Ajahn Kevi said, can you be all of these things? And Luang Por said, yes, in a way we are, but you have prevailing and less prominent tendencies, like major or minor aspects of your character type. He said, for example, a lobha jarit and lobha and dosa are really flip sides of one another. So a lobha jarit, or somebody, if you have a lot of lobha, then dosa will come as a pair. And when you eliminate your lobha, then dosa will be eliminated. So Luang Por then gave the example, if he has his bag, which he likes and is attached to, then if somebody steals his bag, then of course he experiences aversion and anger. And then he said it's Another way to look at it is like in a battle. If one side can capture the leader of the enemy troops, then all the enemies surrender by nature, just by default. So this is like with loba and dosa. So catching one thing, the other, eliminating one thing, the other is eliminated simultaneously. Remember that mind is the chief and the body is the servant. The mind is the one that gives the orders and the body follows. So like, for example, now if you were just to make an adhitthana, it's to sit here all night. The body sits here all night, but it's because the mind has given the instructions. And if your mind has dukkha, and there's dukkha all over the world, in any country, any people, anywhere you go you have dukkha, then as a natural result your speech will not be good. The work you do will not be good, because your mind is controlling things externally. So your mind is controlling the externals, dictating the externals. So this is how the Buddha teaches lay people briefly. He always emphasizes this. If your speech is bad and your actions are bad, look at your own mind. So train the mind to come to sukha. See then that when you have happiness, your speech and your work, your actions are good. This asana teaches us to understand good and bad. So just constantly ask yourselves about this issue, good and bad, sukha and dukkha. Study this topic. So he's talking about just contemplating sukha and dukkha. And Vijay means to think deeply, to contemplate, to analyze, and this has to be a very refined process. An intelligent person doesn't believe things too easily. And Paul said, "I don't believe people too easily." You have to really understand causes and results. Hetpon means like logic. Really see if there's a real logic, and this is in line with the Buddha's teachings. It's a teaching of hetpon, causes and conditions, and causes and results based on causes and conditions. And not just believe something because somebody tells it to you. This is what is meant by 𝐴 So we take on this Dhamma and we internalize it. And this is how we develop into a Vinyuchon, is like a wise person, somebody who knows something for himself. It's just like if you're very cold, you know it for yourself. If you're very hot, you know it for yourself. If you're hungry, you're thirsty, you feel physical pain, you know it for yourself. So in this way we make the body our teacher, and the body teaches the mind. Understand that the mind and body go together, but they're two different aspects. In Thai we say jit jai. Jit comes from the Indian word jitta, and jai is the Thai word. In English you say mind. When we think, the body's here, but the mind can go out. So if you think of America, it can go to England, and then the mind comes back, and then it goes out again, comes back and out and back and forth, in and out, and then we get tired, and that causes suffering, especially if you think a lot. The goal of practice is not to think a lot. If you think little, you have little suffering. If you think good things, if you think correctly, that will lead to no suffering. So whenever you have no suffering in your mind, it's because you're thinking good thoughts. So right now, we all wish for sukha, whatever posture, the 4 postures, standing, walking, sitting, lying down. We all need sukha or happiness. But the true happiness is in our citta, in our minds. And happiness is what we need. It's what we search for and what we have to find. But needing is a kilesa, it's a defilement. But what we have to do is to learn to use our defilements in the right way. If we use our defilements in the wrong way, we just increase our suffering, because we'll, for example, live a life with no sila dhamma. But if we need and use our needs in the right way, if we need sukha, and we use the defilement, which is that need, that craving, to find happiness, then we can use kilesas, to abandon kilesas. If we desire freedom from desire, then we can end that desire. And so wherever we go, we'll feel good. If we're in Wapanarashat, we'll feel good. If we're in Bodhiwana, we'll feel good. If we're in Bodhinyana in Perth, we'll feel good. So the Buddha Sasana is a teaching of causes and conditions. It's the Tesana of Satyatam. It's the teaching of truth. But we're deluded by the world. People are deluded by the world, and it's things in the world we're deluded by, not things outside the world or things that don't exist. People get deluded or lost in money, in banks, also in views and opinions. People get deluded and lost in things like film and music. So we have to be wise and study the things in the world, see that they arise, they are established, or they maintain themselves for a while, and then they pass away. So see how this body arises, and then see that it deteriorates and finally dies. This is the cycle of birth, old age, sickness, and death. Black hair becomes white, teeth drop out. Anywhere there's sukha in the body, there's dukkha. And that's where Lumpur went through the whole body, giving us stomach ache, toothache, liver ache, heart disease, heart problems, knee ache, leg ache, all these kind of things. That's where the suffering is in our bodies. So it's the body Dhamma talk. So we get the Dhamma talk, the Dhamma teaching from our bodies. Even a baby, the baby's in the mother's womb, suffering in the womb, and then it comes out crying. So this is a baby Dhamma talk. This is the dukkha of the body. And when there's dukkha all over the body, then surely there's nobody there, because it's just dukkha. So study the body like the way we do the chanting, the 𝐂𝐴𝐭 Mechai, and understand all the diseases. The eye ache, the ear ache, the various diseases. And it's a burden. Looking after this body is a burden. Say if it's very hot, if you've lived in a cold country before, like England or America, when you're in a hot country, you'll suffer. If it's cold, too cold, then you'll suffer. If it's thirsty, you suffer. When you get hungry, you suffer. There's so much suffering involved in looking after this body. We suffer mostly to find money. In the world, people find money. Take a driver, a car driver, train driver, bus drivers. They have to go without sleep. That's real suffering. Farmers out in the fields, in the orchards. Pilots flying planes all night, go without sleep. It's because they need their money. And this need, the things we have to do in order to satisfy that need, to find money, to alleviate our suffering, causes even more suffering. But what's it for? It's to buy clothes, to cover the body, food to feed the body. It's suffering. Why do we have this kuti? It's because the body needs somewhere to live. If you're sick, you go to the doctor. When you go to the doctor, you have to pay money. You have the medical expenses. Money is all for the body, suffering over and over again. But who suffers? It's in the mind. The body doesn't say anything. If you have a leg ache, your leg doesn't say, I'm aching. The dukkha is in the mind. The Buddha taught two types of dukkha, kaya dukkha and mano dukkha. But what we have to understand, that the real suffering is the mental suffering. The mind is always saying, me, me, me. It's myself, myself, myself. But actually, there's no self.
Do you agree?
Do you agree with Lumpur?
No, yes. Sure. Now,